So, as we discussed in our previous video, the purpose of IR35 is to determine your employment status, whether you are an independent contractor working for your client or whether you are what's called a disguised employee, whether you should really be on the payroll of your client. Figuring out your IR35 status can be very tricky. The main way you can do it is by applying 3 tests, which have been established in case law as kind of the de facto way you figure out your IR35 status. Here's Chris again with a bit of background on those tests.
The 3 key tests of IR35 are personal service, control and mutuality of obligations. These tests were underpinned by case law in 1968. When looking at the case law, you only have to though pass one of the 3 elements to not be within IR35. Seeking professional help can really help in this matter, as they could look at both the contractual wording and the working practices. This is particularly important because if HMRC were to investigate, they would look at both these elements as well.
So, as Chris just mentioned there, one of the IR35 tests, and actually perhaps the most important, is known as control. Now, this is all about whether you, as an independent contractor, have control over how the work is completed. This can be in regard to things like the working hours. So, for example, if you were to estimate a project would be 100 hours, you could decide how to split that time. If the contract said you will work 9 to 5 every day, that's very similar to a contract of employment, and it could be a good sign that you're inside IR35. It can also relate to things like the work location. If you have to turn up to the same office every day, that's a good indicator that you are a disguised employee. A good example of this would be to think about if you were a chef. If you turned up to work one day and you were given a very precise recipe and all the ingredients, and you were told to follow that recipe to the letter, you would probably, in that case, be an employee. If you turned up and were asked to make a lasagna, you would have control over how you did that. You could go out and get your own ingredients. You could decide how to cook it. That is a good indicator that you are an independent contractor. So that's the basics of control. It's all about how you, as an independent contractor, will choose how the work is done. Don't forget we have other videos on the other 2 important IR35 tests, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions at all about IR35, we are here to help, and please leave them down in the comments and we will get back to you.